Welcome to Grind SZN. This is Anthony Sain, along with my co-host Jason Smith of the Jason and John Show, which you can hear Monday through Friday from 11 to 2 on 92.9 ESPN here in Memphis, Tennessee. They are Audacy station, of course. We're trying something new again today. We are currently live on Twitter on the @Grind SZN pod account, as well as our Facebook page, which we launched today. We hope you guys are checking us out there. If not, you will be able to get the full audio stream as well as the YouTube stream, which will be up very soon as well. Thank you guys for coming on. Jason Smith, what's going on with your brother?
Just ready to get to tonight. Big one. Backs against the wall, so ready to get to it, brother. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to talk about. I'm getting out these tweets now to let people know we are live. Thank you guys for supporting us here on the Grind SZN podcast. Subscribe to us on the free Audacy app or wherever you listen to podcasts. Like we said, we are available as well on YouTube. That's on the Audacy Sports YouTube page. We thank you guys for rocking with us so far. We are in the playoffs. The Grizzlies trail 2-1. Jason Smith, after a tough loss, the disgusting loss in some instances that they suffered on Saturday night, a game that started at 9 o'clock. It was setting up for a bad night for Anthony Sain and Jason Smith. I will say that. I hate these late game starts with a passion. I was debating on going to the official Memphis Grizzlies watch party on Saturday. Those plans got unofficial real quick. Jason Smith, I caught some footage of the Grizzlies watch party, and it looked like they were passing around an iPad from the size of the screens that I saw. It was exactly what I thought it would be. It looked like it was the same exact screens that were up there last year. Couldn't do it. I was like, no, I didn't see anything before I decided not to go. I just decided not to go because I didn't want to do outside 9 o'clock. Probably had to pay to park in a park super far away. Wasn't down for none of that, Jason Smith. So I was thinking about going to the Bluff City Media had an event at High what is it? High Cotton Brewery. I was like, man, a black man can't do nothing that don't remind you of either slavery or the Jim Crow era. We had the party on Fourth Bluff, which used to be called Slave something. I can't remember what the auction park or something like that. And then you had High Cotton Brewery. I was like, no, I don't think I want to do either one of these. But I was in full preparation, Jason Smith, to go to the watch party at High Cotton Brewery. But when I saw that score, I was like, nah, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tuck it in on this one. You guys listening probably heard or saw a lot more of the game than I did. I did not see the flurry by Ja Morant. I didn't see any of that. I didn't see anything. I didn't see much but us getting killed in the beginning. And I tucked it in for the night, Jason Smith. How much of the game did you actually watch? Did you see the classic comeback? Did you see the Ja Morant run? How much of the actual game did you see, Jason Smith?
Yeah. I stayed until the end. I almost feel a little bit like a fool saying that I did, considering the fact that you bowed out early. And what did
I got about it.
What have I gained by staying all 4 quarters other than
so you stayed up to make sure we could have an awesome podcast today? Is that the reason why you stayed
up? No. I stayed up actually thinking the Grizzlies, it was really to watch Ja Morant, I'm not gonna lie to you, to see what you would get the rest of him. I figured it was over after a quarter, but you did cut it down. You outscored him. I know the team has repeated it a million times by 16 over the final 3. I was really just watching Ja because, like I told you, saying, like I told everybody going into this one, I wasn't going to be overly up or down about any. Well, I'll put it this way: overly down about a loss or a blowout loss. We said the mission was to get one of the two. And so, to me, once they went down 35-9 first quarter, that game's over. Dillon Brooks gets ejected early third quarter. It was about, okay, is Ja healthy enough, right, to be what they need in a game 4 now that you've got a steal? So that's why I stuck around. And I think what's clear, if there's anything to draw from that game in terms of the Grizzlies side positively, it's the fact that Ja Morant seemed to be feeling no ill effects from a hand that just a couple of days earlier, it kept him out of game 2. That's a good thing for the Grizzlies because you're not going to win game 4 without Ja Morant playing good to well. I think it's pretty clear that, Ja going over 40 him trying to do it by himself is not what's going to get you a win against this team. So there's got to be some sort of, it's a combination of the team playing well, the ball moving well, and John playing well. But no, man, I continued to watch because I wanted to see how healthy that hand was for Ja, and it looked good and healthy.
Yeah, I didn't catch much of it. I did see that Ja's hand did seem to be fine. When it first came on, he was getting a couple of turnovers early, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, Ja's not right, man. But he definitely turned it up, and he was fine. We will talk about this some more today on the show. Definitely going to talk about the Game 3 loss in LA. We also will talk about Dillon Brooks' comments after the game and the day after the game. Just a crock of bullshit from Dillon Brooks, basically calling out the media, not calling out the media, but kind of blaming the media for the Dillon the villain persona. We'll talk about that later on in the show. And, of course, we will wrap it up with who brought the seasoning. Hard to talk about the seasoning and the loss is such an inflating loss, but there are there's at least one person I can think of to talk about who brought the seasoning, and I'm sure you can come up with one as well. But back to what we started out the show with, the Grizzlies did lose in Game 3 to the Los Angeles Lakers. I think they were down 35-9 after the first quarter. I want to say that was a historically bad opening quarter. No team has scored 9 points in the first quarter of a playoff game, if I'm not mistaken. Not the way that you wanted things to go in Game 3. I know that you, as well as John Martin, your co-host on the Jason and John show, I know that both of you guys were basically conceding Game 3, assuming the Grizzlies would lose, and also being fine with that, just knowing that you have to get one of these two games. I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking the Grizzlies needed to kind of get that game yesterday to not put as much pressure on Game 4, because Game 4 now it's a must-win game. If you're down 3-1, that game in Memphis Wednesday feels like, okay, let's go out to support the guys and say our goodbyes for the season. Like, that's what that feels like at that point if you lose the game tonight. It'll be tough if you lose the game tonight. But I do feel like there are some positive things you can pull from this game. Ja went crazy, you know what I mean? And we saw him do that. The question is, how much of that was garbage time when you're down 35-9 in the first quarter? The rest of the game kind of feels like garbage time. A veteran team like led by guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis kind of know how to conserve themselves and how to play enough defense to kind of keep you at bay. It might have been some of that, but we did see Ja Morant emerge, and we see that his hand is healthy enough to score 45 points. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's something that I think is definitely a plus. I don't really have too much else to gather from this game. Tyus Jones now 1 of 13 from 3. Desmond Bane, I can't remember how many points he had, but it wasn't anything super impressive from him. We will talk about those type of things, the things that are the keys to the Grizzlies pulling out a game tonight in Game 4. Where do you think the game? We all know that the Grizzlies got down early. They were down 35-9 in the first quarter. What do you think really made the game a loss for the Grizzlies? What all led to that losing formula for the Grizzlies, you think, in Game 3?
I think Dillon Brooks set him up to get, jumped, essentially. And when you don't have the energy level to match that, and early on, no one did. And listen, I'm not trying to put this at the feet of Dillon Brooks. It's obvious you didn't just lose that game because of Dillon Brooks getting thrown out, taking 13 shots before, early in the third quarter. Yeah, the energy wasn't there from anybody early on. Jaren Jackson's getting into foul trouble. Desmond Bane, for whatever reason, has not been able to shoot the ball well against the Lakers all season long. He's 30% from 3 in this series. Nobody was really ready to answer the bell that night. And a bell that you already knew was going to be ringing louder because of the things Dillon Brooks had said, the way he had gotten that crowd ready for that game. We said first time in 10 years. So there was an energy level, right, that you were going to be forced to match that you didn't even come close to. And so that, and Taylor Jenkins has mentioned that, being ready for, was the moment too big? Maybe it was. Maybe the moment was too big. But again, it was made bigger by some foolish comments by a guy who seems right now more interested in doing his own thing than he is with, hey, we don't need to give any extra, right? We got enough things to worry about in our house alone that we need to give some bulletin board material. But then, saying you go back to the point just real quick on Dillon. Like how after you lose the game, you don't want to talk, and now it's the media's fault because they've made you a villain, as if you haven't invited this yourself.
Yeah,
saying it feels like we've had the same conversation
with Ja Morant
about Ja Morant, about the victim. I'm a victim. One thing keeps happening on the other. When we've said so much of it's self-inflicted. So here's my take. You know what you got with Ja. We got to persevere through the growing pains. Ja Morant's a superstar. Right. Can't wait to get to the other side of these growing pains because it's going to pay off. You and I both know this in a big way. For Dillon Brooks,
nah, we don't have to
have pros around Ja Morant. And young Jaren Jackson Jr. is on his way to being a pro. Has made a huge jump this year in terms of being a professional. Desmond Bane, I believe in him as a pro. Dillon Brooks right now is not a professional trying to help his team win, advance in the playoffs. He, to your point that you said last week, is selling the Dillon Brooks brand. That's no good right now. And you cannot have you got two situations. You got Ja trying to get through his deal. Now you got Dillon not concerned at all. It's just saying when you add all that up, the fact that you're shorthanded, they didn't have a damn chance in game 3. Not a chance in hell. So, hopefully, like we said, Ja's healthy enough. Dillon is, if I'm Taylor Jenkins, I'm not letting him lose this game for me. He's not taking more than 10 shots in this game. It's what the Lakers want him to do, Sain.
Yeah.
So my point is hopefully you're at least enough on the same page tonight that you can, you can have a chance to steal. Because there wasn't a chance in game 3, Sain.
Yeah, I think one of the most deflating things that happened in that game is seeing Jaren Jackson Jr. take 2 quick fouls in the first
early fouls, yeah.
Something that he's been on top of the entire time. It's like, oh, okay, now we got to deal with hostile environment on the road. Jaren's a totally different guy. He's fouling guys. And it just was so deflating, man. To see Jaren make as many leaps as he's had, to still have these road woes or just foul problems, in the playoffs.
It's going to happen occasionally, as thin as they are, though, Sain. I'm with you. It was discouraging, but he's not turned the corner where he's done with it on a roster where the only thing he's got next to him is Xavier Tillman. Like we were probably always going to get a reversion of some of this. At least see some little throwback to it. But you're right. That didn't help the start either. It killed.
No. And Tillman didn't have a good game at all. Can't really expect him to be the guy he was in game 2 every game. But yeah, they didn't really have much kickback at all with what the Lakers were doing. Desmond Bane, I think it's a big deal. Desmond Bane has not really had those Desmond Bane games that we saw in the Minnesota series. Arguably, man, if you just want to be honest, last year in the playoffs, that Minnesota Timberwolves series was won by Desmond Bane and Brandon Clark. Those were your 2 best players in that series. And we just haven't seen that type of impact from Desmond Bane. I don't know if it's something they're doing to him defensively. Shout out to Austin Reeves, a guy who I've gave a lot of shit to, a guy I've got a lot of criticism to, for doing a very good job of guarding Desmond Bane.
He makes him
period.
Yeah.
And he's, giving it to him on both ends. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's, something with his foot. But we've not seen Bane be that guy, especially from 3. He hasn't had a very loud game offensively, especially from 3-point land this entire series. I don't know if he's going to break out from that. We need him to, but I don't really know. I don't know what's going on with him as far as that's concerned. But if we win game 4, I think something that has to happen is a big Desmond Bane game. I think the Grizzlies need a game where they make a lot of threes. And I think that's going to have to be the recipe for them to win tonight. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, he's due.
He's due for sure.
Listen, it's hard to tell. It's just like the Ja Morant points in the over the final half of that game. And Bane finished 3 of 7 from 3 in that game. He ended up going 7 of 14. And while that's not a sizzling Bane game like we're used to, it was closer to any, the Bane that we saw going into the playoffs, the Bane that was shooting 50% from the field, 40 from 3, hitting everything, averaging 22 points. It was closer to that Bane. The thing is, the Lakers were on coast mode then. But I'm saying to say I'm hopeful that tonight, that little bit of, shooting touch that he found, hopefully he still got it tonight because you're going to need it. 30% from Bane in this series from 3, that's not that's not due.
Not winning that way.
And you cannot win this series with him shooting that low. So I'm with you. I mean, this is the must win. You need it now. hopefully he found a little something late in that game that wasn't just, even with the Lakers coaching, hey, if the shot dropped, they ain't guard me, whatever. Because Bane, we know it's about rhythm. So hopefully he's found maybe found the sight, the sort of the hints of rhythm at the end of that game, and maybe it'll translate tonight. I hope so.
One thing that will definitely happen is there will be a Game 5. That Game 5 will be available to view at Hooters in downtown Memphis, in the Peabody Place area. Come check that out with your boy. I will be down there for Game 5 for the 2 broke for tickets. Watch party. We're bringing it back. We're doing home games only, Jason Smith. We're doing something innovative, man. Something they ain't
never seen.
Is
that a 6:30 or 7 tip, Sain? Do we know?
I hope it's not a 9 o'clock tip, because if it's 9 o'clock, I won't be there.
No, that's here, brother. You ain't gonna be no 9 o'clock here, right?
I won't be there if it's a 9 o'clock start. Let me check that out. Let me confirm that, man.
No, it cannot be a 9 o'clock start.
It's a 6:30 start. That sounds good to me.
Yes.
I'll be down there, Jason Smith. My son Gabriel will be in martial arts. I need to talk to his mama, make sure that's true, because I might not be able to throw a watch party. Just to be honest with you, she might be like, "No, you had your fun last week. You'll be taking your son to karate this time." But
Grizz Nation needs you at this point, Sain. They need every man on deck.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna have to work something out with. I'm gonna have to work something out with you, Jason.
I can get Gabe to. I can get Gabe.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to work something out with you, man. But yeah, but before we go to Game 5, the Grizzlies do have a very important Game 4 tonight. I'm going to call this a Grizzlies victory again, simply because I'm not ready to have a funeral on Wednesday to coronate this season. I'm not ready for that. And I also don't want to win a game down 3-1 and then force it to be 3-2, and then you just have to go to LA and get smashed. So if we lose tonight, I don't want all that. So I'm going to predict the victory. I think we've got the talent. A guy asked me today, do I still think Memphis is more talented than LA? Yes, I do. I still do predict a victory today. I'm expecting Desmond Bane's going to come out of whatever he's going through. We see that Ja Morant is healthy. I think that matters. I think that Jaren's going to be more locked in, more focused. I don't see the foul troubles from him. And hopefully this ass whooping that Dillon Brooks took at the hands of national media, of LeBron James, of the Lakers fans, with the oh man, if Lil Boy was a situation, it definitely was the time when LeBron James walked up to Dillon before the game and said, "Hey man, before we get started, you a clown. like I see what you're doing. Like, it ain't working. Just do your job." I'm just dropping some of the stuff that LeBron said. Like, just do your job, make some shots. You ain't ready for me. That hurt me in my soul to see LeBron talk to Dillon Brooks like that, man. Dillon Brooks, who's our guy, our crazy guy who we throw out to do all the crazy stuff.
So you wanted LeBron just to disregard that, or no? You told when Dillon said it.
No,
because it was always coming.
No, listen. The way that LeBron came to him, no media, just off to the side, I would come straight to your face and tell you, man, you a fucking clown. Like, bro, LeBron didn't say that, but that's basically what he was saying to him. He said it real calm, like, yeah, man, you don't want to see me, bro. Just, make some shots, bro. Don't worry about me.
Gets him thrown out. I mean,
yeah, just talk to him like
ownership.
And LeBron, who's one of the greatest professional basketball players of all time. I don't mean because he gets paid for it, but like you talked about, professional. He's mature. He's a grown ass man out there. He came to Dillon almost like, man, you really got the kind of moxie that I would, for the type of guy I like to play with, to have on my team, but not on no clown shit like what you doing, man. Like, he really little boyed him for real. He really little boyed Dillon. And after that, Dillon was humble as shit. Dillon's like, nah, man, y'all turn me into this.
The media did it.
I don't want none of this.
Sain called me villain first.
Right. I felt seen, man.
Yeah.
But you guys are listening to the Grind SZN on the free Audacy app, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you guys for checking us out live. If you're doing it on Twitter or Facebook, I hope you guys are tuning in.
My voice changed and everything. Sain.
Oh yeah, Dillon was in that joint counting his fingers, like, when you like when your parents come to your class. Yeah. When your parents come see you at school and you try to act like you a good kid, that's what Dillon was on. I mean, I was in that joint.
Taylor Jenkins better not let him take 13 or 15 shots tonight.
When has that ever been the case? When do you ever see Taylor Jenkins?
Never, but this is it. But this is the end of you potentially in this playoff series. So I'm with you. He's never done that. That's why we still got Dillon out of control. But if you're going, if it's back against the wall tonight, like you and I believe, you can't let him be the thing that kills your chance this season.
Exactly.
So it better be tonight, if never. I'm with you. I hear you though. You'd make a fine point. He's never done it before.
He's never seen that man restrain Dillon.
He's never reined him in before. But tonight,
the only thing that has reined Dillon Brooks in this year has been trying to play the good boy role as far as like his contract negotiations go. Like they're not doing anything. They're not saying anything to Dillon or threatening him with anything that made him play, more reserved like he was in one part of the season. He's in the playoffs, man, and he's a free agent this summer. He's gonna do what the hell he wants to do, man. And I think that's kind of where he's at right now.
It's crazy. Man, once averaged 25 in a playoff series against Utah.
It was absolutely.
It was a big two, really, between him and Ja.
Yeah, it was him and Ja. But he's falling off from that. Yeah. And I think as we move on to the second segment of the show, as we talk about Dillon Brooks' comments that he made to the media, I think the worst thing that happened to Dillon was he was a player in this organization, and this feels like the funeral of Dillon Brooks' time here in Memphis, because it feels inevitable that Dillon's not going to be here. If I'm wrong, hey, Dillon, welcome back next year.
We'll figure it out.
Playing together, we'll figure all this other stuff out. Right. But it feels like we're giving a eulogy of Dillon Brooks' career here in Memphis. But I think one of the worst things that happened to Dillon is that he was caught he was a transitional player who came over from the old regime of the Grizzlies. He was here before. He is our oldest tenured player. He was here during the Chris Wallace years when we were a bad team for a couple of years in a row. Dillon was given the green light to do everything. He was a rookie that showed a little promise, and he was high volume, high usage guy he was a good player on a bad team. And I think that him doing that and then being transitioned to a totally different front office, totally different direction, John Morant being a star player, I think the fact that he was a good player on a bad team has kind of ruined his whole thing, because I think it's really elevated who he thinks he is. That Utah series definitely didn't help when it was him and Ja in the playoffs going off against that Utah team. But I think that we're seeing him kind of crumble in front of our eyes, man. And I think that he asked for the smoke. I think he wanted to be this villain type player, and I think he wasn't ready for it. I think when he went to LA, he got the shit booed out of him. And when you look, one of the greatest players, he's a lot of people's GOAT. He's not particularly mine. He's GOAT-ish to me, LeBron James. When he looked you in the face and he just talked to you like you were a crumb on the bottom of his shoes, like you were a gnat on an ant's ass. When he made you feel that small, that made him feel like shit, man. And then he talks to the media and he says that, I really didn't sign up for all this, and the media made me.
After walking off the first night, he walked off the first night. Yeah, did that the follow-up day? The
follow-up day. He didn't. And so here's the thing, man. Here's the thing about Dillon that bothers me, man. And you know how in hindsight your eyes get real clear, man. You can see stuff 20/20. Here's the thing that bothers me with Dillon Brooks. He did this same thing last year at the exit interview, or the Grizzlies allowed him to do that, or whether they asked him to leave or he asked to leave, they had the bullshit excuse like, oh, he forgot or he had something to do. Or no, he avoided all the media questions last year locally, and we have the softest underhand pitch throwing media in the NBA probably. He avoided his exit interview last year. You talk all this shit and you're saying things that you know what they're gonna do to the media, and then you're adding gas on your own comments when you say he's old. I wish I could have got the Miami, Cleveland, LeBron. That would have been fine. I know he's LeBron, but he's just another 6'8", 200-something pound basketball player. And then you got cooked. And the way LeBron did it was like such a gentleman, like such a professional, like you said, Jason Smith. He was like, I'm not going to go out here and kill you for 40 because I don't have to. Right. But I'm going to orchestrate my team and get everybody going. And you're going to feel me. You're going to know I'm out here. But I'm not going to do the 40 thing because I don't have to. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's
Do you think he's cost himself money? Saying real quick,
huh?
Do you think he's cost himself money with the end of the year antics in terms of potentially with another team out on the free agent market?
I don't think his value ever was that high. I think Dillon was cashing in on being a culture guy or a energy guy I could see this summer, I could see a team like Detroit saying, let's go get Dillon Brooks. He can Yeah, he's got some stuff crazy about him. We can allow him to kind of score a little bit more. We need his energy. We need his toughness. I can see a team like Houston going to get a guy like Dillon Brooks. I can see a lot of those teams who are just Orlando. Those teams who are kind of young and struggling. I can see them valuing just the bullshit of Dillon Brooks. Nothing has to do with.
Well, I was going to jump in real quick. Don't you have to have him on a team, though, saying that's got some other veterans? If you make Dillon Brooks the veteran in a locker room with the Houston Rockets or the Orlando Magic, that's going to rub off the wrong way on some.
Oh, yeah, I agree. But I can see a team like that still doing it.
You just had a team with still do. Yeah, I got you. I got you. I guess I was thinking where it would work. You're right, though.
Right.
Yeah,
I can see a team like the Los Angeles Lakers getting Dillon Brooks.
Yeah,
I can see after all this.
I can see vets who say, "Hey, we can." Yeah.
I've seen LeBron and Kobe go get their biggest nemesis all the time and have them on their team the next season. I saw Ron Artest get all in Kobe's ass for years, and then when he was available, Ron Artest was sitting right there beside Kobe Bryant. I've seen Raja Bell go from playing against Kobe to playing with Kobe. I've seen all these guys who were. LeBron knows, the value of a guy like Dillon. You know what I mean?
But Dillon thinks he's the 24 up in the rafters.
Oh, yeah. He'll think he's Kobe. He's like, I'm not. Oh, yeah. Whoever signs Dillon Brooks this summer, please don't be one of those teams that already have Kobe's number retired, because that's going to be a serious problem. Oh, I need you to unretire
that. That's what I thought he was going for the other day with the 13 shots in 2 quarters. I thought he was going for 24.
24.
Yeah.
But shot attempts, not points. Shot attempts.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to act like Dillon has not been extremely entertaining. When Dillon came out and he said, he's old and all those type of things, man, I loved it. But, bro, you can't do that and then you're running from the media. Then you're saying, the media made me Dillon the villain. Yeah. Let me correct you too, Dillon Brooks. The media did not make you Dillon the villain. Anthony Sain made you Dillon the villain. I gave you that moniker.
I thought so.
I made that Dillon the villain shit up, man. I made it up like his second year or his first year, one or two. I started all that. So if you're going to call me out, Dillon Brooks, just call me out.
That's who I heard say it first was the great Anthony Sain on villain.
And then the Grizzlies, when he really started getting villain-esque, the Grizzlies came out and started villain Brooks as to, as to not just give you my props. They just,
they was still a lot of your stuff back then, wasn't it?
Oh, you know that, man. Well, that's a whole nother conversation. I'm like Little Richard, man. They stole everything from me.
I know.
Hey, but I don't mess with the Grizzlies though, because they allow me to sell my t-shirts in peace. They do not bother me. We have a very friendly agreement when it comes down to my shirts. They don't bother me at all about stuff that I say.
They could have your ass in court any day.
Yeah. Huh? Hey, when you want Dillon the villain, hey, go ahead. What else you want? I appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Because Asylum T's not on one. It does, it keeps some lights on for sure. But yeah, man. But Dillon, you just can't do that, man. You can't talk all that shit about one of the greatest players of all time. He comes out there, suns you before the game starts. You lay an egg. You take more shots than Jaren and Desmond Bane were taking combined at one point. You get mad. We ain't talking about that. You get mad. You punch LeBron James in the balls. I don't care what nobody was saying. Nasty little dirty dudes like Dillon mastered the way to slick hit somebody in the balls. And you don't really notice he did it. But
Donovan Mitchell, he was slick with the Donovan one.
Yeah, man, come on. It was clearly intentional, man. Like, if you can say whatever, that was clearly intentional. It's no coincidence that the guy that you were talking shit, who came out and fathered you before the game started, and then you laid an egg. It's clear that you hit that man in the balls on purpose. I mean, let's stop the malarkey. He's lucky he didn't get suspended. I'm glad he didn't get suspended, because we need Dillon, man. At the end of the day, when people are done talking, Dillon Brooks that's another thing too. Dillon could very well be on one of the all defensive teams this year. And I think that's something he's gonna have off-season value, bro.
It's gonna be close.
I don't think he's gonna be like get paid like he's making $20-some million a year, but there are gonna be teams who want him. It's not like Memphis is gonna be like, I see, we told you. You come on back to Memphis for $6 million.
Well,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I'll end it with it saying he has not been Tony Allen elite on defense. To justify everything else. So we saw a guy that we were willing, okay, we're going to have him out. Golden State's going to back off. Dang, Tony Allen. So this is not the same. He's not in the same category of his defensive impact. He is not.
Yeah, he's not. But I do think he has value. I think he has value regardless of how ass he is on offense sometimes. I think that Dillon still is a high-level defender. He's a culture guy. And I think if the right team gets him, he probably or the right team can think they've got him. I think he's got that type of value. I think he could. I think there are teams who will credit Dillon Brooks to a lot of what we saw here in the Grizz next gen era. I think there are people who see his value as far as this is concerned. He's making an ass out of himself for sure, and that's undeniable. But I'm sure there's someone in his ear who's co-signing this. I'm sure he has an agency. I'm sure he has PR people. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that he's being instructed that this is probably a good course of action. Because at the end of the day, man, guys like Patrick Beverley stay employed. Draymond Green will have suitors either by the Warriors or somebody's going to value Draymond Green. Those kind of guys who don't really give you a lot offensively, but they're just nasty, dirty dudes. PJ Tucker has suitors everywhere in the league. Jay Crowder, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of how good these guys are, those remaining quote unquote tough guys, they still have, value in the league. He could very well be back in Memphis. There's going to be a podcast we're going to talk about soon. The inevitable is, what do you do if Dillon Brooks isn't here? Which me and you both lean that he's not going to be here. So that's going to be a whole nother conversation. But he definitely has value. He's definitely a good defender, if nothing else. He may be a little overrated defender because he's more of a loud defender. He is a good defender. And when I say loud, he does the most. Like you can, hey, I'm playing defense. He's one of those type of defenders. He's not the quiet Bruce Bowen, OG Anunoby. He's not that type of defender. He's not the Kawhi Leonard type. He's a loud defender, man. He's gonna let you look at me. I'm slapping the floor like I'm playing hard defense. Like he's gonna do all that stuff, let you know he's playing defense. But I think Dillon definitely has a role here. I don't expect much from him for the rest of this series. I think that LeBron James neutered him, and he muted him more than likely. I do think we win tonight, though, Jason Smith. I'm going to stay up late because I think we're going to win the game tonight. I hope that we can pull this one out for sure. But Dillon, the city of Memphis, man, we love shit talking. We're going to ride with you while you talking shit. But you got to take that smoke, man. You not only did you run from the smoke, not only did you not run up the chimney, bro, you jumped off the roof. You know what I mean? You were abandoned ship with the smoke, man, for sure. But you guys are listening to Grind SZN here on the free Audacy app. We are going live on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you guys for checking us out as we experiment with this live thing, man. See what y'all think about it. The old days of Periscope are over, so we don't get the live comments or whatever. But we do appreciate you guys checking us out on YouTube. Like I said, we are having another watch party at Hooters on Wednesday. Come check that out. 6:30. The Two Broke for Tickets watch party. People asking me why am I not doing the road games? Because they don't fit the brand, man. Everybody watching at the house on the road game. This for the people at the house, man. Even this a home game, you still broke. Can't even go to the games, man. But I want you to be able to flourish, man. Memphis, man, flourish in the ass city, Jason, man. I want you to come down to the plaza like you really finna go to the game.
Plus, you and the Grizzlies you're in cooperation.
Yeah, I'm trying to play fair with them, man. They let me sell bootleg shirts. I don't fuck with y'all. You know what I mean?
Cooperation.
See what I'm saying, man? I try to keep a good partnership with the home team.
Exactly.
But no. Who brought the seasoning? Jason Smith. I think this is simple. Whatever drug Ja Morant was on gets the seasoning today. We're gonna call that drug booger sugar. No. No, but seriously, Ja Morant gets the seasoning. The medical crew gets the seasoning for getting that man ready for game 3. I did not think he was going to look that good.
What a miracle.
Oh, a miracle of science. See Ja Morant out there, man.
I have no sauce because no one deserves any for that last game.
You see what Ja done, man? Ja
had
45 points, man.
I know he had 45 points. 45 points you didn't bother to watch, stick around to watch. 13 assists, 9.
I ain't seen the highlight.
A triple-double that you at that point was too angry or cared about to watch. No, man, it was in garbage time. The most important thing was that Ja could do that hand was right. And hopefully, again, it's it's all part of a better effort tonight.
Whoever shot Ja up with whatever, that's what I'm giving the season to. Whatever seasoning was in that needle, that's what I give the season to.
Yeah, man, there really wasn't a player that you could look at in that game. I mean, set Josh to the side that
it was all shit.
You played well. And then Josh came, at pretty much garbage time. So
right. Santi just looked like he needs to get the hell up out of there.
He's not ready for this. He's not ready yet for this. He's not.
I argue with people all year long about overvaluing Tyus Jones. The playoffs comes and I don't get it with Tyus Jones, bro. Why does he get so bad in the playoffs?
Starter Tyus and bench Tyus, regular season Tyus, playoff Tyus. The thing is, when Tyus in the playoffs was starting in game 2, he played great. But coming off the bench,
did he play great or did we just win? I'm not ready to say he played great because I think he had like 8 points or something. If he had that.
Oh, but he was, but saying he was part of getting the ball to Tillman early. He was part of. He was all that whole floor game. The way the ball moved, I realized maybe the points weren't there for you, but Tyus was huge in terms of the way you played offensively without Ja. And so
the numbers suggest that that all lineups without Ja Morant are good, even when Tyus isn't out there. Like if it's like when it was Kyle Anderson or Bane or whoever is at the point. I don't really think I'm not trying to shit on Tyus Jones because I understand his value. I understand how good he is, but I just think that is a mirage. The people think that we're better without Ja. I just think that's just not.
It's not better. It's two different types of offenses. One has a superstar running it,
and that's we'll talk about that soon too. We're about to wrap today's show up. But if we lose tonight, the next podcast we'll have some fire and outrage from Anthony.
Say he had 10, 8, and 6 in that game. That's a good Tyus Jones game as a starter.
Game 2?
Tyus in game 2.
Yeah, 10, 8, and 6 for real.
10, 8, and 6. 10, 8, and 6. That was a good game.
Take that back, man. Take that back. But check this out, though, Smith. This is I'll give you guys a preview just in case we lose the game tonight. Name another situation where you got a team where your two best players, you just cannot get both of them going at the same time. And we're in year 4 of it. And I'm talking about Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., of course.
Paul and Kawhi, even though that's it's a different.
But they're not playing together. I've seen them two dudes cooking at the same time.
Get them going at the same time.
Yeah, I'm saying the fact that we're talking about is the team better without Ja Morant. The fact that that's even a conversation.
It's not.
Whose fault is it? Like we're gonna put some people. That's what we're gonna do, Jason Smith. Depending on how this series ends, we might have a little trial case where we say who is to blame in the curious case of Ja Morant, and if we're better with or without him on the court.
I think there might be. Yeah, there's a couple of names we could probably associate with that.
Yeah, we got to figure that out, man. But I don't think that's true. I think we're gonna see the Grizzlies break out tonight and take care of their business here in Game 4. I think you feel the same.
I hope so. It will be like a funeral in here.
It'll be a funeral. Yeah, we'll be in Hooters. I'll be in Hooters for a funeral.
You're so close to taking back control, and you'll you know what I'm saying?
You win tonight, man. You win tonight. You got 3 game series and 2 games over at the house. Yeah, for sure. But I do feel that. Let's go get that win tonight. That's all I want to see happen. For Jason Smith, this is Anthony Sain. We about to slide up out this joint. But y'all, we appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for subscribing. Appreciate y'all for watching this live. And until then, till we see y'all again, keep grinding.